Kipchumba is on the line. Good morning, Mheshimiwa.
Good morning.
How are you doing? Welcome to the Situation Room.
Thank you very much. I'm fine. Thank you.
Now, we have seen you were watching the proceedings of the Senate yesterday, the committee yesterday. Of course, you were also in the chamber because the Senate was still sitting. From what we saw, your comments on social media, you seem not to trust that this is going to be a clear process.
The reality is that that committee was formed specifically to clear the governor of Kirinyaga, and and this was not hidden. We know that the Prime Minister sat with his side, Anwar Guru sat with him. We know that the whip of the Senate Majority Side, Senator Kamata, was on public saying that we must defend Guru. He's innocent. Senator Orengo on the House, whose responsibility is to also determine the people sitting in that committee, said that Anwar Guru, somebody wants the head of Anwar Guru, and gave the analogy, the biblical analogy of Salome, Herod, and Herod's wife, and all that kind of story. So it's in public domain that they were, prepared to clean and remove her. And even the committee proceedings yesterday, everybody watched it. It was very clear that most of the committee members were siding and acting and behaving like defense counsel, like they are the ones who are, acting on record for Anwar Guru. So I have said it over and over again, and it is known even in the Senate that committee is the best way to prosecute such a matter, but not a committee that has been predetermined, not a committee that has been formed with the persons responsible for forming that committee already having instructions to save the governor. Remember, Senator Orengo is saying that somebody wants the head of a guru. This is not about responsibility. It is not about it. And his deputy is now chairing the committee. So you know what the results are.
But just by saying that, it doesn't mean that they are going to abandon what they are supposed to do. That they'll go to the Senate, they'll go to the committee and sit as members of that committee and listen to what is being presented before them with merit and judge with merit. Unless you want to directly say that that your fellow senators, you have been a senator for the last number of years, so what happens in the Senate, your fellow senators, and therefore you don't put it past them because you belong to the same band of politicians.
Let me tell you, the governor of Taita Taveta was there before this one.
Yes.
And it comes from even the opposition. And we formed the committee, and it was cleared, and I never complained because we are not in the same political side. He even fights our political fights us. But I can tell you for sure, the committee was formed above board. The committee did not have predetermined results. They went and listened to that case, and they came with a verdict that was not predetermined. The Senate in Wambora, where I sat in the committee as vice chair of Senator Kalwale.
Yep.
We found Wambora guilty twice. He only survived through a court process, and it was a committee process. In the case of Chepony of Kericho, committee found him, which was said by Kiraitu, we found him not guilty, and I never complained. I'm not complaining on this one because I hate committee process or because I have anything to do with the removal of Waiguru. I am telling you from the inside information that this was a done deal. What you are seeing there, that committee is doing this and that, is a facade. Unless you don't want me to say the truth.
Is this why you are opposing the formation of a committee and wanting it to go to plenary?
In fact, if I was not given the room to speak, despite the fact that you saw I raised a lot of points of order. I was not given room to prosecute my matter in my side of the story. I was not opposed to a committee prosecuting that matter. I was opposed to the composition of that committee. I said, I requested my colleagues that let's have a process that is transparent for which involves the members of the House and who sits in that committee than those who have already struck a deal with the governor to determine those who are sitting in the committee. In the absence of that process that is transparent, the formation of that committee, then it would be the logical thing to go to the plenary.
Would you say it's the same thing? I mean, the kind of feeling or public sentiment that you are raising now is the same sentiment that was there when you came and proposed a committee to interrogate the issue of the Kiambu Governor Babayao.
Yeah, but
there was a sentiment that, the people that you had proposed, especially from the Jubilee side, and the people that had been proposed from the opposition side, looking at the composition of that committee, those were people that had been predetermined to go and clear Waitito.
But I offered that we change the membership. That I was ready for the membership to be changed so that it can proceed, because I still believe committee is the best way to deal with the matter. But even then, I acceded to, it went to the plenary, and the plenary did what they did. So why not then, if the way to go, if they were right on
Babayao.
Waitito.
Yep.
Yeah. Why then not apply the same consistency on Waiguru? If the accusations against what I was doing then were right, so what is the problem? And remember, the same chair, Senator Malala, is the same chair I proposed.
You had proposed.
Yeah.
Kipchumba, if you see that this is a fait accompli, as has been said previously, by yourself, what do you think would be the overriding reason behind wanting to save Waiguru? Why would there be such a resounding clamor to save her, from your point of view?
Since the handshake came into be, the opposition looked like the government, and the government looks like the. What happens in the now is that even Senate that was emboldened in the fact, on both sides to stand up to the executive, is now the executive's lapdog. And the worst part of it is that whatever the president wants, the former prime minister will want to do everything to deliver for him, and vice versa. So, the connections of Waiguru in the higher corridors of power, her role in participating in EBI processes.
Yep.
She has already visited the Capitol Hill, and we say now as this country, she's been cleaned and washed, and now clean. So it is purely politics. And you remember, they want to create this impression that William Ruto told the voters of Kirinyaga, the MCAs of Kirinyaga told that, so we don't want Waiguru to be moved so that it doesn't look like the William Ruto eats with the MCAs of Kirinyaga and so forth. It has nothing to do with that. It's purely politics.
So has William Ruto participated at all in trying to influence the MCAs of Kirinyaga? That sounds extremely ridiculous. We don't know who this person is that Orengo was referring to, who wanted the head of Waiguru. Could it be William Ruto?
But, they say sometimes it is the PS Kibicho, William Ruto, the governor, senator, whatever. They can say whatever they say, but nowadays, for them to coalesce together, it has to be an agenda against William Ruto. And I'm sure they lie to themselves that it has something to do with William Ruto.
Senator, this scenario that you have described, where the goings on in Senate, you paint a picture of a group of legislators who sat and predetermined the outcome of what they wanted and agreed. Is this something that is usual in this house?
No. I can't say it's unique because this is the first time you find the majority and minority side united in greed. And this unity in greed has been brought by the application of the so-called handshake. So basically, it is a short-term political agreement that is intended to keep this what is called the Kieleweke ODM coalition. And the merits of the case, it is something that has not even lasted more than a year, because even after the handshake, they still stood firm to become independent, both sides. And the accusations that are being leveled against me are basically because I stood up to many things that was considered I should have helped the executive to pass, which are unconstitutional. I see sometimes on social media, you never used to raise these issues when you were in the Senate. But I think these are people who live in ignorance. From 2013, what's the record of the Senate? I was the chair of the Devolution Committee. I transferred. National government didn't want to go to companies as a chair of the committee. I was part of and parcel of the team that sued national government, National Assembly for bills that were being passed unconstitutionally. When I became the majority leader, I led the House in going to court against the National Assembly and National Executive, the President, for signing over 30 bills, and forced the transfer to Nairobi, from Nairobi to a military entity called Nairobi Metropolitan Services. There are so many things I can list that I have stood for, and yet I was the majority leader. I mean, it's not something that started because I left office, and if I was even in office, I'd still be doing the same. There is amidst all this political noise, if you were keen enough to follow my political journey, you realize that there is a certain consistency on matters of devolution that I've never compromised.
Let's go back to the Waiguru issue, Senator, as we conclude the conversation this morning. There are always accusations in such matters in the National Assembly and in the Senate that people are paid. Do you think money exchanges hands in such situations? Actually, not do you think. You have been a senator now. This is your second term. Does money change hands?
Well, to be very frank, I don't think it's about money. I must be frank and honest. If it was about money, senators are capable of rising above money. This is politics. Even if money exchanged hands, it never exchanged. It's not at the level of senators. It's at the level of, out there, the political mandarins and political brokers. But in the House, it's not money. If it was money, I can tell you for sure it's impossible to buy those senators. But it is more about the political instructions that they receive for political gains at this point in time. So I would never attribute anything there to money. I would attribute it to politics, to short-term interest of politics.
Kipchumba, you talk about this a lot. I mean, talking about that it's politics, and a lot of this seems to have swayed away from what the initial case is, and it's not being looked at really as such. I mean, we know that the proceedings are taking place. We know that there are witnesses who are coming forward, but then it seems that all the other, as you call it, the politics and the drama then seems to be flying in the face of what would be the democratic space. What would you have to say about that? I mean, if there's a case to be heard, it seems that the process then will not be followed if somebody's already going to be saved.
I can tell you one thing, that if the Senate was functioning the way it was, assuming even there was a strong minority side and there is a majority side that wants to save Waiguru, I can tell you there would have been a split in the House. A great portion of the majority would have stood with the truth, and and if the minority side still wanted to push for accountability, we would have found the truth on this matter. But if you, in the circumstance that we are living in, it's very peculiar. Everybody is being rough-shotted, and everybody is being shepherded to a particular direction in the country to think and reason on behalf of one person. You see now there is a lot of loyalty pledge that is being made on the floor of the House and all over. And Honorable Junet was more honest in the National Assembly to say that you do this, and if you do, you face the consequences that Duale faced. So we have a peculiar situation that Parliament is no longer standing up to interests of Wanjiku, and also the separation of powers doctrine is thrown out of the window. Nobody gives any much regard now to Parliament because you have people there who, on a phone call, they just shake and move very fast to do the things that the executive.
Mheshimiwa, if I may ask, is it unusual for politicians to behave in this way, to support a cause that is in their political interest? And of course, they will say this is all in the name of Wanjiku.
Well, it's not unusual, let me put it that way, but it's unusual for all the politicians to, all of them unite in subverting the pursuit of justice. You see, you will find a pocket of the politicians doing this or that, but you will also find a critical part of Parliament still standing up to the truth. But at the moment, this is the unique thing about the situation is that the whole country is being shepherded in a particular, is being actually dictated to behave in a particular manner and to push for a particular direction, which is absolutely not in the interest of the public. Then why did we have multi-party democracy?
So thank you very much, Senator Kipchumba Murkomen, for speaking to us this morning. We know that you are getting into some other engagement, and we'd like to let you go off into that. Asante sana for speaking to us. We'll keep monitoring, of course, what's happening in the Senate in this matter of the impeachment of Anne Waiguru, and we'll see whether you'll be proven right or wrong.
You don't need to monitor anything. That thing is done.
It's done as far as you're concerned.
And that's it. We have only 2 days to confirm.
What if after this particular case, the next one is a Tanga governor who comes to the House? What do you think will happen?
They have this. If it becomes a governor that is considered, let's not even use the word Tanga. If it's a governor that is considered to be not to be part of the handshake, whatever they call it, yeah, they will impeach him. Yeah.
Asante sana.
In fact, I usually tell my friends, try your best to walk the narrow path, because if you are supporting William Ruto and you are brought to the Senate now, you will be impeached. And in fact, let me reveal something to you, that even our friends who have said they need to go to Capitol Hill to go and shake hands with Raila Odinga and take a picture so that they are not impeached through a process that is concocted. We have told that is okay, go do it.
It sounds almost ridiculous though, Kipchumba. I know you gotta go, but doesn't it sound ridiculous that we're saying these things right now when we're talking about a supposedly democratic process and development and things like that? I mean, just what you're saying, in order to remain relevant, you must go and then shake hands of particular powers that be.
It is. I mean, it is contradictory. You have. We have our president retiring. He has only 2 years. We are talking about legacy, and I don't know why after 8 years of public service as a president, you want your legacy to be part of this kind of shenanigans. I mean, it's an oxymoron. The conversation around we want to have a new Kenya, we need a BBI process so that we have a great future, and yet that great future is actually a retrogression. So the real thing is an oxymoron.
So are you also advising them not to appear at Jubilee Asili because they may find themselves in a problem? Jubilee Asili Center.
The people who have stood against these shenanigans are people who are ready to pay the ultimate price. The rest of our friends, we've told them, buy time. Naturally, a year or so, naturally things will sort themselves.
Okay.
Yeah? But now, if you're a governor, you are a CEO somewhere, you are a cabinet secretary, and you need to keep your job, and you don't want to be seen with us, don't call us. Just hang in there.
So what's happening at Jubilee Asili Center? What's that all about?
No, Jubilee Asili Center is about it's an office for the people. is for those who cannot access the main office, which is the Jubilee Party headquarters of Thika Road. But let no one make mistake. We are members of Jubilee and major stakeholders of Jubilee and shareholders, and we are going nowhere.
When you say you cannot access the Thika Road offices, what exactly do you mean? Is it that you go there and the Askaris don't open the gates for you? What does...
No. The access means you cannot, you can't be served in that office because you are considered a tanga. Your cries cannot be heard. You can't even go there to have meetings. You can't go there to raise even concerns about your party. So it's better we have an office where we organize ourselves as we wait for the right time.
And what will you do when the right time comes?
We will take over the party.
Oh, so the plan is not to get out of Jubilee?
No. How do you get out your own house?
We've seen it happen before. You got out of URP.
But we didn't get out of URP. We got into Jubilee together with URP and then dissolved URP.
Okay.
But of course, it is true that many people have left their parties. President Uhuru Kenyatta left Kanu. He was exiled from Kanu by Gideon Moya and the other group, and he went from TNA and became president. So William Ruto was chased from ODM, formed the URP, and became deputy president. So that has happened before. But in this instance, the people who are being locked out of Jubilee are more than the ones who are locked out. So at the right time, we will just pick up our party.
Kipchumba, so when you talk about now the future of Jubilee, and you're saying yes, you're gonna take over the party at some point when you're calling this the right time. In the meantime, if we look back, everybody who calls this show says, look, these guys are getting what they deserved, what they had coming for them. You are told many times by the president, please stop campaigning, stop going in these tanga rallies. Many times you are also told, in fact, we also understand that in the meetings that we don't know you, I'm sure you've attended these meetings, the president tells you, you people have been insulting me and you think I do not know about it.
No, first of all, let's start with this mantra of don't campaign. So it is us who are campaigning, but the Tingas, the Uhurus, holding all these meetings at night with the likes of Murades and so forth. What are they doing? So they are having Christian fellowships at night.
They are strategizing.
Yeah, of course, that's a fact. And number two, it's not like we met President Uhuru Kenyatta the other day. He has been our president from 2013. We campaigned from 2013 to 2017. Uhuru Kenyatta, when he was a deputy prime minister, campaigned throughout the second term of President Kibaki. What the hell is all this contradiction about? You see, William Ruto has not even campaigned, but he's being accused of campaigning. But suppose he campaigned the way they did with Uhuru Kenyatta in the second term of Mwai Kibaki, with all the prayer rallies against the ICC all over the country. I mean, really?
The difference here, Kipchumba, is that in the days of the Grand Coalition government, none of the two principals had asked anyone not to campaign. The retiring president did not ask anybody to stop campaigning. In this particular case, your party leader has asked you, please reduce the number of meetings that you're going to do, which are focused on 2022. Let's focus on the now.
Show me one meeting that William Ruto has gone to campaign. One, only one.
Well,
and I want you to search and call me next week if you find one, not two.
William Ruto has attended very many meetings where the people who go with him, including Kipchumba, Murkomen, and other MPs, talk about 2022. When the deputy president stands up, he talks about everything else. He talks about the development, yes. But the people who speak ahead of him, including Kipchumba Murkomen, will talk about 2022 and the succession and the legacy and, the Hustler Nation and the issue of dynasties. They'll talk about all these things. So
and that is considered campaigning.
But let me ask you a question. What meeting is it? Is it a campaign rally?
Does it have to be a campaign rally in order for campaigning to take place, Kipchumba?
Campaign. You guys are discussing campaigning. But if I go to a church and talk about it, what business do you have to engage me on a church?
It's because you're a politician.
No, I'm just asking you. I am on Sunday.
Yep.
I'm in a church.
Yep.
I have already got to church. I was invited to come and do for a rabbi, for example.
Yep.
Yeah. I have finished my Arambe and I tell people about what we are doing as Jubilee and what we intend to do and what our future is all about and so forth. What business, what job have I stopped? What development have I stopped?
You are a politician, and when a politician speaks, people impute political motives.
But I've asked you, what programs of government will I have blocked on a Sunday afternoon speaking about 2022, for example? So you can see this like
Kipchumba, it's diverting the focus of the people from the now to the future. And this is what the party leader had a problem with. This is what he was talking about. Let's not talk about the future. Let's talk about the now.
You guys who are in the media also,
Yep.
you must know that you are part of the democratic process of this country. This overly talking about the leader said, please, you guys, please, let us talk about institutions of governance. The executive has a responsibility to do roads, to do supply water, do all those things. Tell me how Murkomen in a church service will stop government from doing its program.
We actually talk about institutions. We're talking about an institution of a political party, which has a position of a party leader. In fact, remember, we haven't mentioned Uhuru Kenyatta. We are saying party leader. So our focus here is on entrenching democracy. If your structures of your party say that your party leader can ask you to do something, that's what we are raising.
So you are now telling me that going forward, this country, one person will be telling people go left and they go left, to go right, go right. There are no institutions.
But the individuals you speak of represent the institution. In the absence of those people, the institution is an inanimate object.
Did you go to the party and say, now listen, what we are hearing from our party leader is not in the ideals of our party? Deal with him in the party.
How do you go to a party that has never held a meeting for the last 3 years? The only next meeting they did was to remove people. My friend, you see, I am just appalled by the behavior of the media, and I've seen in newspapers, you guys in radios, and everywhere on electronic and print media, perpetuating this idea that the leader has said. I mean, where are institutions in this country? You see, if that is what we wanted in the country, why did we change the constitution? We should have allowed Moi to dictate us all through. We reduced the country from a rule of man to a rule of law.
Exactly.
Where it's governed by institutions. And that is the reason why we have the problem we have in this country, because we are now trying to perpetuate dictatorship of an individual.
As a young leader, Kipchumba Murkomen, a young leader who has risen to high levels of a political party, what would be the best way to address such an issue in a political party? If you feel that your party leader is becoming draconian, imperialist, what is the best way to deal with such a person in a political party so that you ensure that your party
remains democratic,
adheres to ideals of democracy?
You try your best, like we've done, to insist for the party to have meetings. You continue raising those issues that have gone wrong with the party and the country. You continue speaking out. Hopefully someone will listen and will take corrective measures.
Are there structures in your political party that allow you, for example, to call a meeting in the absence of this draconian party leader?
I have no power to call party meetings.
Can you rally people to call party meetings?
Well, we have tried to write the SG. You remember the many letters we've written that the party should meet. It's never been honored.
So who makes that the final decision?
It is made by the National Executive Committee meeting of the party, which is chaired by the President as the Secretary General. So, and if the Secretary General and the Chairman of the party and the party leader conspire, there's nothing to happen.
Which means,
and for us, the party leader is the President. So you know the fear that goes with being a President. Yeah.
So it's about the institutions not being strong enough, or the party structures not being strong enough to stand up to a draconian leader. It is not about the media saying this or the other. Basically, if within the structures of Jubilee Party, you could not sit down and censure your party leader, it's about the party and how you formed it.
The things that go wrong in Jubilee are going wrong in that. Jubilee is the party that has formed the government.
Yep.
So if all of us don't do something to check the executive and the Jubilee, it is the same problems we are seeing across the country. It's the same thing about Kirinyaga now. You know, it's the same thing. It's what has happened within ODM and Jubilee that has contributed to the kind of the country we have now, that we are now being told we must sing loyalty pledge day and night.
So this is the UhuRuto government that's basically destroying democracy.
The UhuRuto government ended long time ago, my friend. We are talking about Kieleweke government.
Oh, we no longer have an UhuRuto government.
Are you a stranger in Jerusalem, eh?
I am in Jerusalem. I've been here for a while.
Kipchumba, the question has often arisen, and I'm asking it again now. I mean, and you've just alluded to that a few seconds ago. You talk about things that we see if a structure has been destabilized, like the party, then essentially you're saying that it's indicative of what is going on in the country. So is this nation structureless then when it comes to governance? Is that what you're saying essentially? And if a party was able to bring that about, then it's pretty sad. Because, look, let's just be honest. Ideology is not what runs parties in this country. It is individuals, and we know that for a fact. If we are able to go back to an ideological structure for parties, then is it possible then for us to see a country that is run structurally? It wouldn't matter which individual came into place.
You are right. You are totally right. In fact, I have nothing useful to add. As a matter of fact, for as long as we still keep saying the party leader this, the party leader that, as though there is no structures in this country, and that one individual now will wake up one morning and come and change leadership of parliament, he wakes up in the afternoon, changes again, does what he wants to do, dictates parliament to do what they do. Even in countries that the Democrats and Republicans in the U.S., there is no way Trump will come and dictate anything to the Republicans. They negotiate. He calls the majority leader, they sit with the leadership, they say this is our manifesto, this is what we want to do. But this one is back to 60s or 70s.
So did this happen all of a sudden? Because it can't be that this character, it was just a shift in character with a snap of the fingers. At some point, with the UhuRuto presidency, everybody seemed to have been happy with the status quo. What changed, Kipchumba?
Not necessarily. The opposition was not happy. More than half of the country was not happy with us, or just slightly less than half of the country. Internally, we had our own free and democratic processes. We held so many meetings. We disagreed inside there. There are many things we averted that could have been worse, that has now been enabled by the handshake. Now that there is one country, one supreme leader, one voice, one decision, one brain, one mind. You see, nobody is supposed to raise anything to the contrary. And if you do, you face the consequences. You are either charged in court, or DCI comes for you, or EACC comes for you, or all this kind of shenanigans. I mean, this is dictatorship per se.
And yet you're telling us that with all this that's happening, as we see the deputy president even attending this week's parliamentary group meeting as the deputy party leader, and sitting there at the high table as deputy party leader next to the party leader, you're telling us that the Jubilee Asili wing that is now forming and coalescing wants to take over the party and go around the country convincing people that Uhuru and Ruto are not the ones who have brought this democracy down the way we are seeing it. It is only Uhuru, but Ruto, who was in the same vehicle, can take over the party and the leadership of the country. And you expect that you're going to be able to convince people that we can separate the failures of Uhuru from Ruto, or the wins of Uhuru from Ruto?
Why don't you wait for time? Why are you rushing? We know what we'll tell you when the time comes.
You know what I find interesting, Senator, is that you very correctly talk about misdeeds that the government now seems to be perpetrating against those who appear to oppose the government or the sayings of one individual, as you say it. But what you've described is something the opposition in this country has been facing for the longest time. Apart from being arrested, we've had situations where people actually get shot and they actually die. How come issues were not raised when this happened to the opposition, who are as much Kenyans as those who are in power?
You will not believe this, but many people raised those issues internally and averted even worse issues. Yeah, but now the people who used to complain are now in charge, thanks to Kieleweke structure of governance. So now, since they are in charge, they are now happy. They no longer complain about Musando or Baby Pendo or all that kind of. They are very happy, one happy family.
You know, the fact that you have a union doesn't mean people are happy. Sometimes the
But
union
there-
is for convenience.
Have you heard Raila Odinga speak about Msando and Petupendo again?
Maybe he's speaking the way you used to speak internally.
But I'm just saying, these complaints are, well, maybe he's speaking internally, so that's fine. So why are you asking me that question then if he's speaking internally?
We are not seeing the results now as we were not seeing the results earlier.
Okay, let's wait for the results, but the results include clearing corruptive governors from office.
Do you think the fight against corruption is being derailed now with all this purge?
No fight. There is no fight against corruption in this country. Political fight fashioned around corruption.
Is there corruption in the country?
There is corruption.
So how else would the fight against corruption manifest itself?
We are not fighting corruption, we are fighting politics. We are looking for cherry-picking people based on who they support politically.
Examples?
You go and pick. I have so many examples.
Just
the
one.
CEO of Kenya.
Sorry, Kipchumba, we didn't get that.
I'm saying the CEO of Kenya Power was fired. He was told that he was corrupt, but later the board had to negotiate with him to leave office. You know, you have so many. The CEO of Kenya Pipeline, because they were perceived to come from the same community and friends with William Ruto. There are so many people, my friend. Governors being charged in court, some being asked to that they will be charged, fighting of projects like Aurora and Kimware. You know, all those other things.
And
There is enough. It's a whole day discussion if you want to that direction. It's a whole. It's just a hoax.
And in all these cases, Kipchumba, don't you think that there's any merit for the officers, for example, the ODPP, the EACC, the DCI, to come in and investigate? Why are you only picking the political side of things?
Well, if I am wrong, it's approved by time, and I've always told you this. If I am wrong, let's start with my guru on Friday. Yeah.
Kipchumba Murkomen, thank you very much for speaking to us. Asante sana. We know that you've given us a bit more time than you had initially anticipated. We enjoy talking to you, and we'll invite you now to come to the studio once we are able to fight this corona.
Yes.
Corona has given an opportunity to clean house in many ways.
Are you clear?
Yeah. After corona, we'll be new, revamped, and clean.
Okay.
Thank you, Senator.
Have a good day.